The vessel has a lumen. We don't have any smooth muscle. Good examples of a venous sinus. Remember, from the level of the heart up, okay, blood flow returning gets to simply flow with gravity. So in the brain and in our heart itself, we've got some sinuses that help return the blood to the vena cava. We've got dural sinuses of the brain and a coronary sinus in the heart that empties into the right atrium. Larger veins have smooth muscle. What do we know about smooth muscle?
It's not controlled like skeletal muscle.
It is not under voluntary control. This is involuntary and therefore controlled by my autonomic nervous system. Sympathetic, parasympathetic. Because when sympathetic kicks in, one of the things that's going to happen, we're going to increase the blood flow to the heart. So, parasympathetic kicks in, we don't. So we're increasing blood volume of the heart. The blood flow pathways that we're going to find in the body, the simplest one is where only one capillary bed is present. Basically, the flow you get is the heart beats, leaps by way of the aorta, travels by way of the arteries, makes it to the arterial end of the capillary bed, meets the venous end, travels by way of the veins back to the heart, and start the process all over again. The majority of what we have in the body is the one capillary bed. But we also know that we have portal systems. Where have we heard of a portal system before? The endocrine system, the hypothalamo-hypophyseal portal system. What was special about that? Marlisha?
I just remember like it didn't have to go straight back to the bloodstream.
It simply got to flow from one capillary bed to a second capillary bed before having to go back out into regular circulation. So, a portal system is where the blood leaves by way of the aorta, travels by way of the arteries, makes its way to the arterial end of a capillary bed, meets the venous, but before it returns to the heart, it now travels through another capillary bed before making its way back to the heart. We have two in our bodies. We have our hypothalamo-hypophyseal portal system, and we've got our hepatic portal system, part of the liver and the digestive system. Those are the two portal systems that we're going to have in the body. The next one, arteriovenous, arteries, veins, anastomosis, putting something together, anastomose, okay? This is a shunt, meaning we bypass something altogether. So, blood leaves the heart, travels by way of the arteries, if the body does not want to send blood flow to the tissues here, it'll simply shunt it, not even go through the capillaries, meet the veins, and come back to the heart. Good examples: fingers, ears, toes. So let's think about this for a second. Anybody check the weather for this weekend coming up? And next week? What's going to happen?
Well, at first they said it was snow.
And now, we do know it's going to get really cold. Okay? I got to finish moving my plants inside because Hurricane Michael blew my greenhouse open. Yeah. So, I'm furiously trying to figure out what to do with all my plants.
Sounds like you should cancel class one day to do that.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
Now, greenhouse go back down. So, in this really cold weather, if you go outside and let's say you don't have a hat on, a scarf on, gloves on, or nice wool socks, all right? That means your fingers, your toes, and your ears are probably going to get very cold. To the point that in some cases, they can fall off. Like in severe extreme cold, okay? Why?
Frostbite.
Do what? Because the lack of blood flow, due to the fact the body's information is saying those parts are expendable, let them fall. Because it's more important that I send this warm blood to my viscera and my brain. That's what it'll do. It will say, sorry guys, so bad for your luck right here. Bye. All right, it will do that. That's a shunt. It's not even allowing the blood to go anywhere near those tissues. Kind of cool, just saying. A venous anastomosis, okay, we can find that the blood can simply go from a vein to another vein. This would allow, if the body needed to, this would allow the body to take the blood and reroute the drainage from an organ. Health conditions, injuries, this sort of thing, sometimes the body needs to drain from a different route, and it can do that. It will reroute if it needs to just another vein so that it can get the blood moving. In the arterial anastomosis, it's allowing it to go from an artery to an artery. So we can have either a vein to a vein, artery to an artery. When the body's supplying blood, the one thing that it's going to pay attention to first, the brain, the viscera, everything else. That's pretty much how it's going to service it. And it will take the blood from any areas needed. So under normal circumstances, it likes to flow through the one capillary bed, the portal system, because that exists, okay? But if it has to, it'll do alternate routes. So what type of factors are going to affect flow of blood in my body? Do I even need to be concerned about the flow of blood in my body?
Yes.
Anybody else think so? Do you think about it?
No.
Do you wonder if you're having any pressures or resistance
When I
to
get,
your blood flow?
when I get a headache or eat a cheeseburger.
Why for the headache?
I imagine it's caused by some kind of pressure up top.
Why the cheeseburger?
Heart disease, issues like that cause rise in blood pressure.
Okay. Anybody think of anything else to be concerned? Okay, lightheaded. Feel lightheaded? Anybody think about the ease of blood flowing through the heart and the vessels? Do you get concerned about whether you need to, if the blood going to the heart, making it to the vessels, is putting any extra strain on the system? You will now. One of the things that can happen, we have these factors. We have like blood pressure, we have flow, we have resistance to flow. We have these different factors that happen. But we also have lifestyle things that we do that can affect the flow. One of the biggest is not staying properly hydrated. How many of you in here would say, now, note, when I talk about proper hydration, that means water only. Not tea, not coffee, not soda, not power drinks, energy drinks, electrolyte drinks, straight up water. How many of you get your amount you're supposed to get per day? I know. Do you realize that this right here is probably one of the best things you can do for your body? Because if the blood is properly hydrated, the ease of flow is greater and there's not strain on your heart. A lot of times people mistake that, well, I drank my 6 sodas today, so I got fluid. No. In the case of depending on other fluids to supply your body, tea, coffee, sodas, power drinks, electrolyte drinks, whatever the case might be, your kidneys actually increase the little membrane proteins that send the water out of your body. It doesn't retain it. So, it's a good idea to always get that proper amount of water. To sustain our life as a whole, we need to have proper nutrition to this tissue and the cells within it. Otherwise, the cells are going to die, the tissue's going to die, the organism's going to die. We talk about blood supply in terms of flow